welcome to Glass Goof. My name's Connor. Today we have a glass demo for you. We're going to be making a bowl. I really enjoy making these bowls. They're a lot of fun. The one that we're going to be making today in particular is going to be a purple base bowl with white polka dots on it. But let's go to the hot shop and get started. So first we'll start by picking up our purple glass. This is what we call color bar. We're going to wipe off the kiln shelf we picked up from the annealer, and then we'll start to bring it up to temp. Corey's going to spray down the clear glass so that it cools down. And now you're going to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. We just hit 7,000 subscribers and we're just gaining more and more every day. So thanks to everybody who subscribed so far. But I'm getting ready to put a bubble in this. Here comes that bubble. This is how we start every single glass piece. Any vessel, this is how we start it. Corey's getting ready with that color overlay, shaping it into that nice heavy cone type shape. And now he's going to bring it over and I'll cut it on top of my bubble. This is what we call a color overlay.
Hang out there.
So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to spread that color across my clear bubble. This will give me even distribution of color, and hopefully it'll just be as even as it can be across the surface. The center of my bubble is cold, the glass is hot, so we're just trying to spread it while the temperatures are different like that. Now we're going to gather on top of it. We'll get a little bit of clear glass out of the furnace. We'll cool our pipe off. Whenever we put our pipe into the 2,000 degree furnace, it tends to get pretty hot, so always got to cool it off so that we can actually choke up on the bar. It's easier to turn. This is called a wooden block. We're reshaping that new layer of glass that we got on top of my purple. It may not look purple, looks orange, but that's just because of the temperature. I guarantee it's still a very royal purple. Now I'm getting Matt to inflate this, and I'm using my newspaper tool to really cool down parts of it while it's expanding from the inside. This newspaper tool is one of the most versatile tools we have in the glass shop. It helps you almost touch the glass. Now we'll get another layer of glass on top of that, just one more gather. I think this is going to be the last one. This is what we call a strip gather, so I'm going to drain off all of the extra glass so that I have a nice even layer on top. We'll get rid of the trail. I seem to have picked something up in the furnace. There was another kind of color in there, so there's a streak or two, and I was just kind of checking that out. But now we're going to rearrange that while it's nice and hot. That outside layer is a lot hotter than my core right now.
Must be some color somebody lost in there or something. Alright, on light.
And we're just going to continue to inflate it. I really want to puff up the back near my pipe so that we can put in a jack line here in the future.
Awesome, man. That went well.
Right now I'm preparing to go into a mold. I have a rigid mold on the other side of the studio. It's like an optic mold is what they call it. It's a pretty big one. So I'm evening out my glass and getting it into a nice tapered shape so that I can match the angle of the mold.
I'm not done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get like a rubber band or something to put on it.
Now here we go. I'll throw this into the mold and blow as hard as I can. I really want my bubble to expand as much as it can and get those grooves in there. I want nice, fine ridges.
Down a little bit.
So there we go. You can see all those lines on there. It looks like I did a pretty good job of really pushing that in there and expanding it while I was hot. And while I've been setting all of this up, Corey has gotten some white color, and he's preparing that so that we can put a nice wrap on it. What we're getting ready to do is called a machine wrap. He's going to get this white color to a good temperature so that it flows off correctly, and if we do this right, we get a nice spiral across the whole piece.
Hell yeah, man.
Alright, that went really well.
Yeah,
So we're trying to get polka dots on this piece in the end. And that was a spiral wrap, but the only part of that wrap that was actually touching the piece was on the ridges. So now all of my glass has receded to those ridges and we get these polka dots. Now I'm going to use my marvering table, that's this metal table that I'm rolling the glass around on, to really try to even out the glass. Remember, we had all of those ridges from the optic mold, so it's quite bumpy on the outside. I needed to do that so that I could get my color distribution for the polka dots correctly, but now we're going to slowly start to inflate it and try to get rid of those ridges.
All right, off.
I'll use my newspaper tool again to cool down the bottom while I have matte blow. So we're thinning out that same section in between where my piece ends and then where I want the lip of my piece to be in the end. And this is what we call a fluffy torch. We use it whenever we want a specific part of the glass to get extra hot. So when I go into my reheating chamber, it'll be extra hot in that section. This is what we call the jack line. I'm getting ready to separate the piece from this pipe. We'll transfer it to another one, and the line that I'm creating with my jacks, which are these giant tweezer tools, is where I want the glass to break. So it's a little bit of a process, but right at that constriction point is where the glass will separate from my pipe.
And blow hard. All right, and off. Awesome.
Now I'm getting ready to put the bottom in so that we can finally get ready for the punty transfer.
All right, all along the eastern front. All right, Corey, if you want to make it funny.
This is what we call a punty transfer.
Oh my.
Corey's got a small amount of glass on the end of a solid pipe, and we've connected it to the bottom of my piece. So now we're going to separate it and break it on that jack line that we made before, and I'll have it flipped over on the other pipe. And there we go. Looks like it went well. Once we get the lip back up to temperature, we're going to start to open it up. I'm going to use my Sophietta tool to puff the inside. Now we're moving on to one of my favorite tools. These are called the parchofis. They're wooden jacks. They work just like regular jacks, but instead they're rounded because they're made out of wood on the end, so they don't leave any fine lines. They're used mostly in bowls and for different techniques, but they're fantastic for moving things without leaving any tool marks. Centrifugal force is something to think about whenever you're making bowls. The widest spot on your bowl likes to just get wider and wider, so the rate of my turning matters a lot. You'll notice that when I use some tools, I spin faster than when I use others. Like right here, you can see that my turning is going a little bit faster because I want the gravity and the centrifugal force to fling out that midsection while it's nice and hot. There's a lot of that goes into glass blowing. Temperature, rate of turning, the color affects how it reacts to heat and everything a lot. So there's a lot that goes into getting these pieces to be just right. Alright, and now we can put the final touches on it, make sure that everything exactly where I want it to be. I'll have Corey come on with both paddles so that we can really contain this piece and get it to be just the right size. And there we go. But we're not done yet. Now we have to disconnect it from the pipe.
All right, Corey, ready?
So I've got a little water dropper. I'm going to try to put a few drops of water in between the bottom of the piece and the tip of my punty.
Oh, come on. There's no water left. One more.
And now
Ready?
we'll grab it, we'll hit it a few times, and we're off. And here's the final product. I'm really, really happy with how it came out. I love the polka dots. I love the spiral on the bottom. I do have a little mark where you can see that I already disconnected it from the pipe, but that's okay. And yeah, I really, really like this bowl. Came out well. All in all, I'm really happy with how this bowl turned out. And hopefully we'll make another one just like it in the future. Maybe another color or something like that. So thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.